Oh my goodness, it's Trinity time. Already? Again? Yes. Seems like it's been forever, but it's only been a week. Last week we were talking about commitment, and this week we're talking about communication. If you don't know by now, we have a meditation every Wednesday night, and we empower these energies into the consciousness to change the flow of movement, of intent, of understanding, and passion on this planet. You can't do all of that with just a word. So we try and give you every week a sensation. We do a little exercise drawn from my experience in the martial arts world on how to feel the energy as a sensation. If we all meditate on that sensation, we can change how that energy is perceived in the consciousness. It's a wonderful thing. You should be a part of it. To do so, all you got to do is participate with these videos. Like this particular video, subscribe to our channel, maybe leave us a comment, or even share it with somebody that you think could benefit. All of these things make us much more visible, and they help get our message out that we can change the consciousness by working together. This week, as we've said, we're talking about communication. If you haven't already, I suggest you go back and look at our back catalog of videos. We've talked about communication several times, and I think all that we've said still applies and is still very valuable. But tonight we're going to talk about a very simple aspect of communication. You can see it very clearly in the demonstration that we're about to do. In a self-defense situation, I encourage you never to hit somebody with your fist, because if you hit a hard bony area like their head or something, you'll crack your knuckles right open. And now you've got to defend yourself and one of your hands doesn't work. That's a very bad situation to be in. So I always talk about the heel palm as my favorite striking technique. So we're going to get Diane to hit this pad with her heel palm. Good, and we want a nice step through. So I want to see her step and pop that hip when she does it. That puts maximum power in. You can see it knocked me back a little bit. But I'm a big, strong guy. I've got a braced position. It's not going to be too incredibly strong, but that's probably because of where Diane's focusing. There's a very simple metaphysical adage that says, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And most of the time when people think about hitting something, they think about making contact with this surface right here. That's where their focus is, the front of the pad, and so all of their energy goes right here. And it's enough to knock me back a little bit. But let's imagine that Diane is not trying to hit the front of the pad. She's not even trying to hit this hand. She's trying to hit this back hand. She's going to do the same thing she did before. Get a nice step through, and you'll see that it knocks me back much further. Even though I'm still in the same braced position, even though I've still got the same strength going on, it knocks me back, simply because her intent was to go through the target instead of impact on the surface. In the same way, we can get her to push my head down, and probably
it's not going anywhere.
With all of her strength, she's not going to be able to counteract my back muscles because they're pretty strong. But that's probably because she's thinking about putting the force into the skin at the back of my neck.
Yep.
If she thinks instead of trying to touch the floor, you can push somebody down really easily. Did she suddenly get stronger? No. It's really just about where your intent goes. If you're focused on touching the ground, then you have the energy to go all the way down. If you're focused on pushing the back of the neck, then you simply have the energy to push the back of the neck. Even a straight push like this.
I'm just pushing your chest.
Yeah. Every time somebody thinks about pushing, they think about making contact with the skin that their hand is touching. But if you think about pushing an object way behind me, you can push me back really easily. It's not about strength. It's not about power. It's about where your focus goes. That's where the energy in your energetic system, your aura, if it pleases you to say so, goes simply by adjusting your focus. Thank you, Diane. This is true of communication. If we substitute this heel palm for words, and this push for actions, then your communication is really a function of where your energy stops. Sadly, most people stop at the surface. If somebody is talking to them and they're bringing up a lot of facts, then their focus simply goes to those facts. If the person's very upset, then their focus goes to that upset. If the person is insistent that we do things a certain way, then all of your focus goes into making sure that you're doing something a certain way. No real communication happens because you're impacting the surface of what they're putting out there. It's very much like you're pushing on their skin and they're not going anywhere. Your communication must be about getting your intent all the way into the physical world. Whatever that intent is, if we're talking about balance or abundance or communication or flow or whatever energy we're talking about, you have to have the intent to get that energy through this interaction, not let it impact on the surface. Very, very simple concept, but very powerful. If you start treating your words just like you would your heel palm and say, wait a second, I'm not trying to talk to this person's mind, I'm not trying to interact with their facts or their feelings or their habitual way of doing things. I'm interacting with their spirit. My intent is to get my energy all the way through this conversation and not let it impact on the surface. If you do that, you'll find that your communication is much more powerful. If you think this stuff's too cool, stay tuned for more training.